What if you went to sleep tonight and woke up tomorrow in a world that history says never existed? No modern cities, no engines, no satellites overhead. Instead, crystal towers, silent floating transport, and a vast island empire older than recorded civilization. A place Plato said disappeared in one single day and night. This is not fantasy. This is Atlantis. Welcome back to Hidden Origins, the channel where we explore the lost civilizations, forbidden histories, and mysteries buried beneath the official timeline. Today's journey takes us to a place most historians dismiss, but one of history's greatest philosophers documented in disturbing detail. Long before modern science, before satellites mapped the Earth, and before history was written by empires, knowledge was preserved differently. Scholars didn't chase trends. They sat in silence, learning from thinkers whose words shaped reality itself. Among them stood Plato, a student of Socrates, a man known for logic, discipline, and restraint. Plato was not a storyteller chasing attention. He was precise, measured, careful with words, which is exactly why when he wrote about Atlantis, it unsettled generations of scholars, because he didn't present it as a myth, he presented it as history. In two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, Plato described an ancient island civilization located beyond the Pillars of Heracles, larger than Libya and Asia combined. An empire that ruled over vast territories across oceans long before our accepted timeline of civilization even begins. And then, without warning, it vanished. According to Plato, this knowledge did not come from imagination. It was passed down from Egyptian priests to the Greek statesman Solon and finally recorded by Plato himself. The priests claimed Atlantis fell 9,000 years before Plato's time. Let that sink in. That places Atlantis thousands of years before what mainstream history calls the birth of civilization.
Naturally, scholars pushed back. Some argued Atlantis was nothing more than a metaphor, a philosophical warning about arrogance and moral decay. A symbolic story, not a real place. But here's the problem. Metaphors don't include measurements. They don't reference real continents, and they don't describe precise locations. Plato wrote that Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Heracles, stretching across regions we now call Europe, Libya, and parts of Africa. He described its political system, its wealth, its military strength, and even its eventual downfall. That's not poetry. That's documentation. And then comes the most disturbing part. Plato didn't say Atlantis slowly declined. He didn't say it faded into legend. He wrote that after violent earthquakes and floods, the entire island sank beneath the sea in a single day and night, its warriors swallowed by the earth, its civilization erased. One moment it existed, the next it was gone. If you're still with me, this is a good moment to subscribe, because from this point forward, the story of Atlantis stops sounding like mythology and starts colliding with uncomfortable evidence. Because once you accept even the possibility that Atlantis existed, the next question becomes unavoidable. What kind of civilization was advanced enough to disappear without leaving clear ruins? Plato hinted that Atlantis was not primitive. It was organized, powerful, and technologically sophisticated, a society that balanced knowledge, governance, and spiritual order, at least in its early days. which raises a dangerous idea. What if history didn't begin where we think it did? What if Atlantis wasn't humanity's first attempt at civilization, but a forgotten peak? And if that's true, then Atlantis didn't vanish because it was weak. It vanished because something went terribly wrong. In the next part, we're not asking, did Atlantis exist? We're asking something far more unsettling. What would it actually feel like to wake up there tomorrow as one of them? Imagine this for a moment. You open your eyes, and nothing around you matches the world you remember. No engines, no phone screens, no concrete skyline. Instead, light bends softly through crystal walls, and the air itself feels charged, almost alive. You haven't traveled in space, you've traveled in time. You sit up slowly, trying to understand where you are. Outside your window, the sun rises over perfect concentric rings of land and water, glowing gold and blue. The city stretches outward in precise symmetry, as if it was designed, not built. This is Atlantis. Your home isn't made of steel or brick. It's carved from a luminous stone that seems to breathe with the environment. The temperature adjusts naturally. The walls hum faintly, not noise, but resonance. This structure doesn't just shelter you, it responds to you. As you step outside, the first thing you notice is what's missing. No traffic, no engines, no chaos. Instead, sleek transport pods glide silently above the ground, following invisible paths guided by magnetic fields. There are no roads as we know them, only flow. Movement here feels intentional, not rushed. Time in Atlantis doesn't feel scarce, it feels respected. The city itself seems alive, yet calm. Towers rise in graceful curves, capped with crystalline domes that shimmer in the sunlight. Every building aligns with something larger, star patterns, energy lines, or sacred geometry that the Atlanteans clearly understood. Here, architecture isn't just functional, it's spiritual. In Atlantis, science and spirituality were never separated. They were the same system, spoken in different languages. Geometry wasn't just math, it was sacred design. Astronomy wasn't distant, it was personal. And if this already sounds impossible, pause here, because this is where many people stop listening. If you want to understand where this journey is going, now is a good time to subscribe. What comes next challenges everything we assume about advanced civilization. As you move deeper into the city, you're drawn toward a massive structure at its center, the Energy Hall. The walls glow with deep violet light. Inside, enormous quartz crystals rise from the floor, carefully arranged in precise formations. These aren't decorations, they are conduits. The Atlanteans didn't burn fuel. They didn't rely on wires. They tapped directly into Earth's natural electromagnetic field. Modern science confirms that quartz has powerful electrical properties. But Atlantis didn't just know this, they engineered entire cities around it. Energy flowed invisibly, cleanly, endlessly. Lights glowed without bulbs. Machines functioned without engines. Power existed without pollution. But energy wasn't just used to run technology. It interacted with consciousness. Healing centers replaced hospitals. There were no pills, no invasive surgeries. Instead, Atlantean healers used sound, light, and frequency to restore balance in the body. Illness wasn't treated as an enemy, it was seen as imbalance. Patients entered chambers shaped like prisms. Harmonic tones filled the air.
colored light pulsed in specific rhythms. The goal wasn't to fight disease, but to tune the body back into harmony. Strange as it sounds, modern fringe sciences, chromotherapy, bioresonance, sound healing are now circling these same ideas. Atlantis may have mastered them long ago. Education followed the same philosophy. Children weren't trained to memorize facts. They were taught to perceive patterns, sacred geometry, astronomy, conscious awareness. Schools doubled as temples, and learning was designed to awaken potential, not enforce obedience. Knowledge wasn't hoarded, it was cultivated. And here's the unsettling part. A civilization this advanced shouldn't have vanished easily. So ask yourself this: if Atlantis had clean energy, advanced medicine, and a society built on balance, what could possibly destroy it? Hold that question, because in the next part, we'll explore the technology of Atlantis in deeper detail and why traces of it may still exist across the world today, hidden in ancient ruins that modern engineers still can't explain. Across the world, there are structures that should not exist. Stones weighing hundreds of tons, cut with surgical precision. Walls fitted so tightly that even a blade can't slip between them. Monuments aligned to stars with impossible accuracy. And no one can fully explain how they were built. At the heart of Atlantis stood towering crystalline structures, not monuments, not temples, but machines. These towers formed a massive energy grid that tapped directly into the Earth's magnetic field, distributing power across the entire island. No wires, no combustion, no pollution. Think about modern Tesla towers, but thousands of years earlier. The Atlanteans believed crystals weren't passive objects. They believed crystals stored, amplified, and transmitted energy and information. When aligned correctly, these structures enabled anti-gravity transport, matter manipulation, and possibly something even more controversial: time distortion. That sounds impossible until you look at the evidence scattered across our planet. In Bolivia, at Pumapunku, massive stone blocks are cut with such precision that modern engineers struggle to replicate them even with diamond tools. Some stones feature drill marks, perfect angles, and interlocking designs that suggest machining, not primitive chisels. In Lebanon, at Baalbek, stone slabs weighing over 1,000 tons were lifted and placed with pinpoint accuracy, without cranes, without modern technology. And in Egypt, the Great Pyramid aligns with true north more accurately than any modern building on Earth. How? Some researchers believe the answer isn't force, it's frequency. In Atlantis, sound wasn't art, it was engineering. Ancient accounts describe harmonic devices capable of altering the density of materials. By directing specific sound frequencies, stone could be softened, reshaped, or even levitated. Construction wasn't done with brute force, but resonance. This idea isn't fantasy. Modern experiments show that sound waves can influence matter at a molecular level. Tesla himself claimed that vibration was the key to understanding the universe. Atlantis may have already unlocked that code. There are legends of tuning fork-like instruments used to lift massive stones. Others speak of voice-activated mechanisms and sonic healing surgeries, procedures performed without blades. And suddenly, ancient myths start sounding like misunderstood technology. If you're still watching, this is a critical moment to subscribe, because what comes next directly challenges how history explains the ancient world. Because Atlantean technology didn't stop at construction, they transmitted energy wirelessly. Using piezoelectric crystals, magnetic fields, and atmospheric resonance, Atlantis powered entire cities invisibly. Light glowed without bulbs, water flowed uphill, vehicles glided silently across land and sea, and they did it without poisoning the planet. Environmentalists today strive for sustainability. Atlantis achieved it. Now consider this. Across the globe, ancient sites share impossible similarities. Precision stonework in South America mirrors techniques seen in Egypt. Temple layouts in Peru resemble those in the Nile Valley. Even underwater structures like Japan's Yonaguni Monument match descriptions eerily close to Plato's Atlantis. Coincidence or connection? Some theorists believe Atlantis wasn't isolated. It was a global hub, a civilization that traded knowledge, technology, and culture across continents long before recorded history. Maps like the Piri Reis map, which depicts Antarctica ice-free centuries before it was officially discovered, raise disturbing questions. Who mapped the world before known explorers, and how? Mainstream archaeology calls these anomalies mistakes or coincidences. But when coincidences repeat across continents, they start to look like fingerprints. What if Atlantis didn't vanish completely? What if fragments of its technology were scattered, misunderstood, or deliberately buried? Because here's the most unsettling idea of all. If such advanced technology existed before and was lost, then progress isn't linear, it's cyclical. Civilizations rise, they peak, they fall. And Atlantis may have been one of the greatest peaks humanity ever reached. But technology alone doesn't destroy civilizations. Something else does. We confront the uncomfortable truth Plato warned about, the moment Atlantis stopped serving balance and started chasing power. We explore the real reason Atlantis fell, not because it lacked knowledge, but because it forgot why that knowledge existed in the first place.
Every great civilization believes it will last forever. Atlantis was no different. They mastered energy, they mastered matter, they even mastered the mind. But there was one thing they failed to master: themselves. In its early days, Atlantis was not ruled by greed or conquest. According to Plato, leadership was not inherited by blood, but earned through discipline, knowledge, and moral integrity. Kings were not tyrants, they were initiates. Each ruler had to pass tests of mental strength, emotional control, and spiritual awareness. Power was balanced by councils of sages, scientists, healers, and philosophers who ensured no single force dominated the whole. Governance in Atlantis was built on balance. Masculine logic was always countered by feminine wisdom. Technology was guided by ethics. Knowledge was treated as a responsibility, not a weapon. For a long time, it worked. Atlantis expanded not by force, but by influence. Other regions adopted their teachings. Trade routes formed. Knowledge spread. And then something subtle began to shift. Wealth accumulated, influence grew, and slowly restraint weakened. As Atlanteans gained more control over energy, matter, and even life itself, humility began to fade. Technology advanced faster than wisdom. What was once sacred knowledge became a tool for dominance. Plato described this change carefully. He wrote that Atlanteans were once divine in nature, but over time their human flaws overtook them. Greed replaced balance, ambition replaced harmony, and the gods, as Plato framed it, noticed. Now, whether you interpret the gods literally or symbolically doesn't matter. In ancient texts, gods often represent natural law, the consequences of imbalance. And Atlantis crossed a line. Energy systems once designed to harmonize with Earth were pushed beyond safe limits. Experiments grew reckless. Power grids strained against forces they didn't fully respect. Some researchers believe Atlantis triggered its own destruction, not intentionally, but through overreach. Think about it. A civilization capable of manipulating Earth's magnetic fields, a network of massive crystals amplifying energy, a planet already sensitive to tectonic stress. What happens when balance breaks? According to Plato, the answer came swiftly. Violent earthquakes, massive floods, a chain reaction that didn't just destroy cities, but destabilized the land itself. And then, in a single day and night, Atlantis was gone. Not conquered, not slowly abandoned, erased. If you're still following this story, this is an important moment to subscribe, because what comes next reframes Atlantis not as a failed civilization, but as a warning. Because something about Atlantis doesn't add up. If it was destroyed by earthquakes alone, why do flood myths appear across nearly every ancient culture on Earth? From Mesopotamia to India, from the Bible to Mesoamerica. Different names, same event. Some researchers believe Atlantis didn't just sink, it triggered a global catastrophe, a great deluge remembered differently by every civilization that survived it. Which leads to an unsettling possibility. What if Atlantis wasn't punished by external forces? What if it collapsed under the weight of its own imbalance? Plato's message becomes clear here. Technology without wisdom leads to destruction. Power without restraint invites collapse. And perhaps that is why Atlantis wasn't preserved. Perhaps it was meant to be forgotten. But even if the island vanished beneath the sea, their people may not have. Because legends across the world speak of survivors, teachers who arrived after a great flood, bringing knowledge, agriculture, and astronomy to scattered tribes. And that brings us to the final question. Did Atlantis truly disappear, or did it spread? Next week, in our final episode, we uncover the legacy Atlantis may have left behind, the survivors, the global myths, and the evidence that suggests Atlantis never truly died. It simply changed form. When Atlantis vanished, history didn't go silent. It fractured. Across the world, new civilizations rose, each carrying pieces of knowledge they claimed came from gods, teachers, or visitors from the sea. But what if they were none of those? What if they were survivors? After the fall of Atlantis, ancient legends begin to echo the same strange pattern. In Egypt, there is Thoth, the bringer of writing, mathematics, and sacred law. In Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl arrives after a great flood, teaching astronomy and agriculture. In the Andes, Viracocha emerges from the sea, civilizing scattered tribes. Different names, different cultures, but the descriptions are eerily similar. Bearded figures, advanced knowledge, sudden disappearance. These gods didn't demand worship, they taught and then they left.
Some researchers believe these legends record the same event, Atlantean survivors dispersing across the world, carrying fragments of their lost civilization. This could explain why ancient cultures separated by oceans share striking similarities, why pyramidal structures appear in Egypt, Mesoamerica, and Asia, why sacred geometry repeats across continents, why ancient calendars track celestial cycles with impossible precision. And then there are the maps. The Piri Reis map, drawn in the 1500s, shows Antarctica without ice, something modern science says should have been impossible. Who mapped a frozen continent before it was frozen? Where did that knowledge come from? Some believe it was inherited, copied from far older source maps passed down through unknown hands, hands that remembered Atlantis.
And if that's true, then Atlantis didn't vanish in a single night. It fragmented. Its technology was lost. Its cities were buried, but its knowledge survived, distorted, mythologized, and misunderstood. Atlantis may not be a place anymore. It may be a memory. This brings us back to Plato's final warning. He didn't describe Atlantis just to amaze. He described it to caution. He believed civilizations rise when wisdom guides power and fall when power outruns wisdom. Atlantis wasn't destroyed because it lacked intelligence. It was destroyed because it forgot balance. And that message feels uncomfortably relevant today. We harness energy we barely understand. We manipulate nature faster than we can control consequences. We advance technologically while ethically lagging behind. Sound familiar? Maybe Atlantis isn't lost beneath the ocean. Maybe it's buried in our future. And maybe the real reason its story survives isn't to glorify the past, but to warn the present. If this story made you pause, consider subscribing to Hidden Origins. This channel exists to explore what history left out and what it may be trying to tell us. Because there's one final question we can't ignore. If Atlantis reached heights we are only now approaching and still collapsed, what does that say about where we're headed? Keep your minds open. History doesn't repeat, it rhymes. And sometimes the past isn't gone, it's waiting to be remembered. If you want to continue this journey, watch the video on screen now, where we explore other prehistoric civilizations that vanished without a trace. This is Hidden Origins, and the truth is always deeper than it appears.